Now, before we get started, let's talk about protecting yourself online. Are you using a VPN to watch this video or to listen to this broadcast? Well, if you're not, you should. If you are, and it's not Virtual Shield, then you're probably using one that isn't trusted. A VPN, a virtual private network, is a server where you can log on to before you browse the internet to basically mask or hide your identity to these nosy thieves. Just press a button and voila, you're protected. In order to honor the passing of one of the NBA's all-time greatest athletes this month, Virtual Shield is offering 24% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons. Sign up for a free 30-day trial to Virtual Shield VPN. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the Patriots, they set up a trap, and they led the deep state, the Ds, right down the path, and they followed along. Why did they do this? Because in the end, they wanted to expose all these individuals that you saw at the House hearings, that you saw at the Senate trial. It was all part of the plan. It was to show the country, the deep state, the Ds, the non-elected leaders, what their actual motivation was. And they trapped them. And they wanted to understand where their loyalty lay. And they found out. And now a lot of them have been let go, or some of them have quit already or retired. This was part of draining the swamp. Remember, Q and the Patriots, they're directing the show. All of this has been planned out a long time ago. And we know that arrests are coming very soon. Actually, Trump sent us a message today to let us know that it's going to happen very, very soon. Which means the attacks that we're seeing right now, they're going to intensify. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Twitter or some other social media outlets actually go down, or certain people can tweet and others can't, or certain people can post on Facebook, certain people can't, or on YouTube, some people can upload and others can't. Remember, the deep state, the Ds, they've been preparing for this. They're panicking right now. Everything that they tried to do to remove Trump has completely failed. And now we come to find out that the White House has identified and will soon part ways with the anonymous official behind a recently released book and a resistance-focused editorial published in the New York Times. Now, this is coming from Joey D. He made this claim on WMAL's Morning on the Mall, and right now, no one is confirming this, but he's out there saying they know who it is. And what's very interesting is that everything that these people have tried to do has completely failed. They don't have a step 5. They don't have a step 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're stuck. All their individuals that were working for the deep state, working for the swamp, they've been exposed. They've been watching them. They didn't want to remove everyone all at once because how do you know who's who? Instead, you watch them. You observe them. You use FISAs because they go both ways. And you find out who their contacts are, who they've been talking to, what their plans have been. And once you have this information, you set them up. And this is exactly what Trump, the Patriots have done. Now, to take this a step further, we've come to learn that Attorney General Bill Barr, he confirmed that the Justice Department is currently assessing information about Ukraine, which was provided by Rudy Giuliani. Now, he has his own personal podcast where he's letting a little bit of information out each time. And he says he has the smoking gun. He has the information. Now, the Justice Department, they're letting us know that they have the obligation to have an open door to anybody who wishes to provide information to them. And Barr told reporters that they have to be very careful about the information they're receiving, but they have a system in place where they can tell which is real and which is not. Take a listen to Bill Barr.
Graham, we have to be very careful in with respect to any information coming from the Ukraine. There are a lot of agendas in the Ukraine. There are a lot of cross currents, and we can't take anything we receive from the Ukraine at face value. And for that reason, we had established an intake process in the field so that any information coming in about Ukraine could be carefully scrutinized by the department and its intelligence community partners so that we could assess its provenance and its credibility. And, that is true for all information.
Now, as you can see, he's letting everyone know that they're investigating this entire Ukraine scandal. And Rudy Giuliani is supplying the information. We'll be talking a little bit more about this a little bit later in this report. But first, Representative Devin Nunes, he's the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. He gave the Inspector General, Michael Atkinson, remember, he's the one who changed the whistleblower form. He's the one who brought the whistleblower forward. He's the one who doesn't want anyone to know who the whistleblower is. Schiff doesn't know who it is, but they all know who it is. Nunes says he has to hand over the information that will illuminate certain questions surrounding the timeline and procedural protocol used to vet the whistleblower's complaint that centered on Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukraine President Zelensky. So this individual has until Friday, and we'll have to see Nunes' next move if he doesn't get this information, because once he gets this information, it's kind of game over for Schiff and the rest, because we know that the form was changed way ahead of the phone call. And Trump's phone call was released, the transcript was made transparent to the American people, and that whole whistleblower complaint went down the tubes. Now we know that General Michael Flynn, he changed his plea. He's saying that he's not guilty now, which means those on the Mueller team in the Department of Justice, they have to prove that he's guilty. Now, they've been backtracking. They would have to produce evidence. They don't have it. And now Judge Emmett Sullivan, he canceled the sentencing date. He did not even say what the new sentencing date is. Now, I do believe that there's going to be a declassification of the FISA warrant that they had on General Flynn. And once that is produced, Flynn is going to go free. Now, I interviewed Dave Hayes, a.k.a. Praying Medic, on the Spotlight channel. He does believe that those who are responsible for Flynn, setting Flynn up, those are going to be the first arrests, which it's starting to look this way, but we'll have to see how this all plays out. Now, very interestingly, we also had Attorney General Bill Barr. He was letting everyone know that the Department of Justice has just indicted 4 members of the Chinese military for masterminding the 2017 Equifax data breach, which breached about 147 million U.S. consumers. So this wasn't Russia, it was China. And what's very interesting about all this is that Q has been letting us know that it's not Russia, it's China. That's where we should be looking. And if you notice, there's been a lot of arrests, those individuals selling treasonous information over to the Chinese. Of course, we have Hillary Clinton and her server. And we've seen a lot of individuals arrested. And now we have this. So it's all starting to fit together. The deep state, the central bankers, they are controlling China. Remember, China was slated to be the next hub of the financial system. Once, of course, they reduced the population, brought us to war, and everything else. That's what they were planning on. And if you noticed, during this whole period of time while Obama was in his presidency, China's technology was rapidly advancing, almost to the point where it equaled the U.S. Why was that, and how was that? It was because the secrets to our military, they were being sold to China. Now, down at the border, we know that Trump is building the wall. Of course, the mainstream media, they really don't want to report about this. They really don't want to talk about it. They talk about how people can scale the wall, how they can cut through it. But remember, in many places, there are double walls. There's the first wall, then there's a gap, and then there's a second wall. And there's drones, there's cameras, and everything else. So even if they scale the first wall or they cut through it, digging under it's kind of tough because there's concrete that goes pretty far down. But even if they try to dig a tunnel under it, they go into this zone area where they're picked up on camera, and it allows the patrols around that area to get there very, very quickly before they reach the second wall. Even if they reach the second wall, they still have to climb it, they still have to cut through it, and they can stop them. So it's not just one wall in many places. The high traffic area, there's double walls. So what has Trump done? The Trump administration is shifting its border wall focus from procuring resources to breaking ground on new construction after securing funds for 1,000 miles of new wall along the southern border. The fiscal year of 2021 budget requests fewer funds for the border wall construction than in previous years, but a senior White House official explained how the administration has now shifted from securing funds to being able to build more wall. What are they doing? They are cutting certain targeted agencies. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health Education and Research Centers, Department of the Interior's Highlands and Conservation Act grants, National Park Service's Save America's Treasures grants, National Endowment for the Arts, Endowment for the Humanities, Cooperation for International Community Services. They are being cut, and the funds are being redirected to the wall. Now, very interestingly, out in Germany, it seems that Merkel, she is in trouble, just like Macron and all the other leaders. I think we're going to start to see many of these leaders leave and other leaders take their places. Now, some of these individuals have successors where they slated that this is going to be the next person. But I don't think that is panning out the way they thought it was going to. The people are waking up around the world. The people understand this. And Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, better known as AKK, she was the successor to Merkel. She has now confirmed that the rumors are indeed true. She will step down as the leader of Angela Merkel's Christian Democratic Union. So it looks like Merkel's party is going to be in a little bit of trouble. And it seems that we're seeing change all around the globe. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. This is post 3850. Gives us a meme. It's in red. It has Trump's face on there, the Washington Monument. And in this meme, it says the following: below the depths of the D.C. swamp, the hunt is on. In the invisible war for the future of our republic, the tables are now turned, and now the hunters become the hunted. Patriots in control. Enjoy the show. Then Q gives us a Twitter link to Kyle Griffin. And it says, Attorney General Barr has acknowledged for the first time that Rudy Giuliani has been giving the Justice Department information he collected in Ukraine, essentially bringing what was a stealth campaign into official government channels. Now, we just talked about this, but Q says, did Mueller open the door to Ukraine? Yes. Did Mueller open the door to FISA illegal? Yes. How do you introduce evidence legally? Did impeachment provide a platform to discuss findings of Ukraine? Yes, it did. How do you introduce evidence legally? Did impeachment harm or help POTUS, public, and public is in brackets and bold? It helped him because it exposed the other side, exposed these individuals. How do you introduce these high crimes, corruption, and that's in brackets and bold, to the public? Why didn't POTUS remove Hussein, and that's in brackets and bold, holdovers from NSC? Do you really believe that POTUS and team trusted Hussein holdovers to remain within the admin and work to enact POTUS agenda without bias or confrontation? How do you awaken the induced coma public, fake news control, and that's in bold and caps, from their long sleep? Sometimes allowing your enemies to openly attack logical thinking. Remember, these individuals still in government, they're there for a reason. Remember, in the beginning, we talked about how they're using them to track them, to understand their plan, to understand their playbook, to see who they contact and who they talk to see who leaks what. This is all about optics. Everyone feels comfortable. Everyone feels secure. They feel like no one's touching us. We might be able to get away with getting Trump impeached. And look how it backfired. This is why when you look at all these people and people are screaming and yelling, why is Trump keeping them there? They're there for a reason. They're there to make these people put their guard down and make them feel comfortable in their position. Look what happens when Trump starts to get rid of all these individuals en masse. Who are the people that speak out? Clinton, Comey, Brennan. Think about it. The higher-ups, they get really angry. You're removing all our people. How are we going to know what's going on now? You're removing our blocks. These people were in there to get rid of Trump. Now they're gone. Now, what's very interesting about all of this is that Bill Barr, he acknowledged that he's receiving information from Rudy Giuliani. And this reminds me of post 1365, when Q told us that Rudy Giuliani has the insurance file found on Weiner's laptop. Now, think about this for a second. Rudy Giuliani, he was the New York City mayor. Relationships are high. He knows a lot of people. He knows the police force. The police force like him. Most likely, Rudy Giuliani, and we're getting confirmation from Q, he has the insurance file, but kept it very quiet. Now, recently, what has happened? Well, out in New York City, we had an attempted assassination of 2 New York City police officers. Now, this is from the Justice Department. I like to express my outrage at the attempted assassination of 2 New York City police officers. I've recently been up there to visit with the NYPD News, and that is a force that does exceptional work for the people of New York, AG Barr. Now, who were they trying to get rid of? Why were they trying to assassinate them? Why were they targeted? Did they see Weiner's laptop? Did they hand the information off to Rudy Giuliani? Do they know what's on it? It could be because Rudy Giuliani, he has all the goods on Biden's and others in Ukraine. Rudy Giuliani has the insurance file from Weiner's laptop. And then we had the attempted assassination of 2 New York City police officers. Very interesting. Let's move on to post 3851. This is from the Washington Examiner. Q gives us a link, and it says, bigger than Vindman. Trump scrubs 70 Obama holdovers from NSC. Let me read a small part of this. President Trump is making good on his promises to drain the swamp and cut Obama-era holdovers from his staffs, especially the critical and recently controversial National Security Council. Officials confirm that Trump has National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien have cut 70 positions inherited from Obama, who had fattened the staff to 200. Many were loners from other agencies and had been sent back. Others left government work. Under this, it says, we've got what we needed. There is no step 5. Thank you for playing. They got all the information they needed from these individuals. They were trapped. Remember, FISA works both ways. A lot of these individuals were working with foreign governments, and Trump and the Patriots were able to listen in on these conversations, and they got the information they needed. Now they don't need these people anymore. They're being removed. And it was shown to the public who these people actually are. And think about it. During the House hearings, these individuals that were testifying, most of them never even heard the call. They were just making this stuff up. They were disgruntled employees, and they were doing whatever they possibly could to get rid of Trump. Let's move on to post 3852. And Anon posted the following. This is post 3596. What advantages might exist when you know the other side's playbook? This is a link to Merriam-Webster for the word trap. Enjoy the show. Q. Down below it says, caught them all. What we're watching is a coordinated plan to trap the deep state, the Ds. While all of this is playing out, the patriots are watching. They're observing who and what they do, who they contact, what they're doing. These individuals feel a full sense of security. These individuals are exposed, and the patriots have the ability to see who these individuals are loyal to. And they played the game, and they lost. Let's move on to post 3853. Now, Q gives us post 993. It says, follow Bolton, clean stage, learn how to archive offline. The streets will not be safe for them. Down below it says, what happened following Bolton's departure from the White House? The White House was cleaned. What happened following impeachment? The White House was cleaned. Nadler, Pelosi, Schiff cannot walk down the street. Remember the video of Pelosi? People calling her a liar? Remember the video of Nadler where the heckler came out and said, you lost? People are looking at Schiff saying, you're a loser. Q says, imagine that. Q. So Q foreshadowed the White House cleaning and D's leadership being ridiculed in the streets. Post 3853 gives us a meme, and it's a bunch of children and one individual facing the other way on a bench looking at a picture of Q. And it looks like maybe it's a painting. And it says the greatest military intelligence operation of our time. Back channels are important. Attacks will only intensify. You attack those who threaten you the most. Enjoy the show. Well, why would they be attacking right now? Because something big is about to drop. They know that Barr has been getting information from Rudy Giuliani. They know that Rudy Giuliani has a lot of friends in New York, the higher ups. He has the insurance file. They know the D class is coming. They know that's going to lead to arrests. So the deep state players, they are panicking. Look what we've seen already. There was a short period of time where Twitter only allowed blue checks to tweet for a while. I believe this was a test. When everything drops, there might only be certain people that can use certain functions on these social media platforms. Do I think they'll completely go down? No, I think they're going to try to control the narrative where certain individuals. 8kun is being attacked constantly, and this is where Q posts. So that tells you that they're trying to shut that down so Q can't put out any information. Today on Twitter, I showed everyone the attacks. I mean, I've never seen attacks like this before on my site. Now, this is far beyond anything I've ever seen. Today already, the attacks are up to 17,000. I've never seen this before. So this tells you something. This tells you something is going on. And the mainstream media, they're tweeting and putting out a huge amount of Q articles, letting everyone know that it's a conspiracy, that these are crazy nut jobs. Don't listen to them. Hive tweeted out the following. 100% spot on Julian's rum. With yours, I decided to show all the outlets who decided to drop a Q-related article. Also included is Patrick, who is spinning it and being selective when he writes one. And basically, they're showing all the different articles, all the tweets that have been coming out. And they are constantly coming out to try to convince the people that it's a conspiracy. Julian's Rum tweeted out the following. Contemplate this. The New York Times tweeted out 8 times today about Q. I don't think I've ever seen them tweet a thread this long about any topic, much less a baseless conspiracy theory. Why would they continually tweet out about a LARP? if it was a conspiracy theory and it wasn't true, they wouldn't care. Now, very interestingly, the New York Times, they tweeted out something very interesting, and they mentioned that the FBI warned that QAnon is a potential domestic terror threat. This is what they said. In its intelligence bulletin identifying QAnon as a potential domestic terror threat, the FBI warned that social media was serving as an incubator for groundless theories and inspiring followers to take action. Now, Dave Hayes, aka Praying Medic, decided to look into this. And thank God he did some research here. This is what Dave found. I received a reply from the FBI on my Freedom of Information Act request. They could not confirm the so-called FBI intelligence bulletin about conspiracy. They referred me to the Bureau's public bulletin on categorization of terror threats, which does not mention conspiracies as a threat. This is what he said in another tweet. The FBI recognizes 4 categories of violent extremism: racially motivated violent extremism, anti-government, anti-authority extremism, animal rights, environmental extremism, abortion extremism. They do not recognize conspiracy extremism. Then Dave points to the FBI site, and it says the FBI classifies domestic terrorism threats into 4 main categories: racially motivated, violent extremism, anti-government, authority extremism, animal rights, environmental, abortion. That's it. And he shows us on the FBI page that that's all they count. So what the New York Times is saying is they're trying to convince people that we're extremists. Don't look at the QAnon stuff. It's all fake. It's a conspiracy. Don't look at it. Why would they be pushing that so hard? Well, we might have our answer. It seems that Trump might have sent us a message. This is what he tweeted out today. 95% approval rating in the Republican Party. A record 53% overall, plus add 9 points. Corrupt Democrat politicians have brought me to highest polling numbers ever with the impeachment hoax. Thank you, Nancy. Now, the part that we're looking at is the number 9. Why would he say plus add 9 points? Well, if we go back to post 3716, this is the first indictment to be unsealed will trigger mass population awakening. This is what it says. First indictment, brackets bold, unseal will trigger mass pop awakening. First arrest will verify action and confirm future direction. They will fight, but you are ready. Marker 9, which lets us know that it's coming. The deep state knows it. When exactly, we don't know. But this is letting us know that something big is about to hit. The mainstream media, the deep state, wouldn't push attacks. They wouldn't push the Q articles. They wouldn't push all of this unless something is about to happen. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.